Welcome, Title Tribe, and everybody else that wants to join in. And I know you want to be a part of this future of the Title Tribe. Hey, click that link, hit the subscribe button and everything, and hey, come join the party. This is the Friday night's NFL Roundtable. And as always, I am the Frito Bandito. Bottom corner right, I got my man, Will. Will, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Rich? How we doing, fellas? Going into the holiday, feeling pretty good. Got a nice
Yeah,
little long
feeling
weekend.
real good and stuff like that until I see you wearing that Cowboys all the time, man, and it really disturbs me.
Don't hate, man. Don't hate.
And as always, up in the top opposite corner of me, I got our man Justin. Justin, how you doing, sir?
I was doing great when I was the only one that was wearing an awesome Santa hat. And then Will was like, no, I'm not going to let him one-up me. And then he not only got the Santa's hat, but he also got that really dope-looking jersey, that Diggs jersey, man. That's absolutely awesome.
Thank you, man.
Obviously, Colts fan, but I'm also a big fan of individuals. And that dude, he's phenomenal. So
I must say I'm a big fan of that sweater.
Yeah, it's a Santa sweater. I don't want to show you the bottom part of it.
You spelled Cowboys wrong on your hat, though. So
well, it did say Cowboys, and I had to go to the doctor and get it fixed.
Oh yeah, a little medication, right?
Well, I apologize that I wasn't able to join the festivities of dressing up for Christmas and everything. So I will be the Grinch, bah ha ha, or however you want to say it.
Makes sense.
But what I do want to say is, Patreon members and everything, man, it is it's an opportunity for us to kind of get our fellow Patreon members in an honor and everything to be able to have one on the show today with us. Right below me, I got my man Wyatt. Wyatt, how are you doing, sir? And Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Rich. I am doing well, man. I'm feeling festive, feeling grateful, enjoying the season. I'm supposed to get some snow here this weekend, so just gearing up for a festive weekend of family, friends, football.
So I want to take this opportunity, if you don't mind, Wyatt. Look, I know we promote Patreon and we promote our Gilded Chat and everything, but you as a Patreon member and stuff like that, how do you think we're doing overall? And what is your things that you like about our Guild and our Patreon membership and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so you can, as we all know, there's a billion different groups of fantasy experts out there that you can join. Often what I've found, though, is that, when you're in a Gilded type chat or Discord, it's not friendly, can get aggressive, things like that. Through the Gilded chat is great. Everybody's friendly in there, super helpful. That's been super helpful. And not only the members, but then, Justin, yourself, Will, Coach, all of you have been so helpful to me directly with my lineups through the season. And that's been a huge, huge benefit as well. It feels like a family here. You don't feel like a number. You feel like you're part of the tribe, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
Beautiful way to go into that title tribe and stuff like that. It's been one of the things that we've been pushing for so long. When Justin and Coach originally started all this and everything, man, I remember being in that bottom in the text chat stuff, constantly talking to him and everything. And it's been an honor to be part of this team and everything. And really enjoy the stuff we do. We try to be impersonal as far as impressible. And we want to make sure that everybody that's part of the team enjoys being on there with us and everything. And by no means we say we're experts. Hey, we just give our honest feedback and everything on what we feel is the right thing to go and stuff like that, and just try to help everybody in the right direction.
Well, Rich, I did put air quotes around experts, and I didn't. It wasn't directed at you guys at all. Okay,
it just fit.
No,
I appreciate that very much.
For those of you that don't know, or you haven't put two and two together yet over there in the chat, this is the Wyatt Loves Music, by the way. It's like yes. We got the Wyatt on. It's not just some other random Wyatt that we pulled in off the streets here. So, and Wyatt, you were telling us before the show about this music thing that you love, and you wanted to kind of prop a website that I went and Googled, and you're right, they do have music stuff.
They most certainly do. Yeah. Shout out Burning Shed. Burning Shed, if you're into physical media music, if you're into records, CDs, box sets, T-shirts, posters, etc. Burning Shed, shout out. Place to go. Too late for Christmas now, but, Christmas year round when you're a fan of music. And, for me, it's a lot like, it seems like the relationship Coach has with sports memorabilia. For me, that's music, musical memorabilia. And Burning Shed, often if you do pre-orders, you'll get signed records. You'll get the artists, they'll sign it and they won't even tell you. So go Burning Shed. Shout out.
Awesome. Do they have a website, burningshed.com or?
Yes, I found it online.
Yeah,
if it's and he's right. They sell T-shirts and other memorabilia, so I'm sure this is probably the right site.
And they are in the UK. Don't be deterred by that. The shipping's quick. I often get things faster from them than I do from places in the States, and they ship things like impeccably. So
nice.
I don't know why I would be deterred by that. It comes back a lot smarter than me.
All right. So before we jump in to game of the week and some of the discussions we're going there, one last thing. How are you doing in your fantasy leagues and everything? You got any going on this week?
Yeah, 3. Unfortunately, last night I played against Olave and Stafford, and my running backs Kyron and Kamara. So, Kyron, of course, did well, but Kamara. So it's not looking good right now. Still have, some big names to go on my side, but there's still hope. Another league, that was a long shot getting us this far anyway. And then the third, I think we might get to week 17. We'll see. So
yeah, all right.
Nice.
All right. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to everyone in the chat and everything. So thank you all. I mean, Coach poached me off of Twitter back in September. Said, hey, come on over, and the rest is history. So thank you.
Yeah, what Coach and I like to say is that we like to just throw out all the advice. Ultimately, it's you setting the lineup. So because you can choose to listen to us or not, like last night when I chose not to listen to Rich and instead I listened to Jason and George, and I had to bench Puka because my wide receivers are pretty stellar. I had it was either him or a running back that I'm not even going to name because it's Chuba Hubbard, but he's not nearly what Puka did. Because in my flex, I like to go running back, that was a total mistake. I should have listened to Rich.
It happens, man. I mean, it ain't like I gave you some stats to fall back on, like number ranked 11 wide receiver on the year, number ranked 24 running back on the year. I don't know. Flex wise, I probably would have gone.
The number was 2-1. It was 2 votes to 1 vote. So
yeah, and I get it. I mean, both of those guys are like 6 feet tall, so they're big votes. I get it. Hey, a shout out to Ramholic in the chat, Jerry Bagshaw, Mr. Duarte. I appreciate you guys joining on. So let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand. Game of the week is San Francisco versus Baltimore Ravens that me and Will have put up on the board and everything. So I'm going to plug the Baltimore side. Will's going to plug San Francisco side and everything. Now, with that being said, look, this is a show and everything, but I did pick San Fran to win this week in our picks that we have. So, but I'm still going to stand up for the Baltimore Ravens. Right now, the Ravens are plus 5.5 dogs in this matchup. The over and under for this game of the week is at 47. Look, the Ravens have already clinched a playoff berth after last week's win. The big things that are going to be affecting this, Keaton Mitchell's going to be out. Look, he was a rookie kind of running into kind of getting some steam going into the playoffs, and would have been exciting to see how he would have turned out. But they do have Gus the Bus, and he will be rolling this week. Some injury stats from this game. Ron Staley, he is questionable with limited practice this week. Their wide receiver core is banged up. OBJ has been missing a few days being sick, and Zay Flowers with the foot. Now, if we all think about Baltimore, look, we all talk about Lamar Jackson and everything, but what else do we talk about? We talk about that defense. That defense has been lights out this year and stuff like that, really keeping this games right where they need to be for them and everything. So, but they do have a lot of injuries on the defense and everything. So, look, this is going to be a tough matchup for the 49ers and for the Baltimore if you really sit there with both defenses on both sides. So, I do like the 49ers winning and stuff like that, but Baltimore's going to make this a game and stuff like that, and it might come down to the kickers. And we know Baltimore has a great kicker on their end. So, look, my little plug for the Baltimore Ravens. Will?
49ers. Now, I know that we're going to go into the 49ers later with Justin, and he's going to go and say why they're playing or not playing as good as the Rams. We'll get there. But although the 49ers have injuries, they still are planning on resting some players. They're just going off of last week. The defense held Kyler Murray to just 211 yards with only 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions by Ward. 1 returning for a 66-yard touchdown, putting them up 14-7 in the first quarter. That's domination. They were also they were playing very well to begin with, but their defense is 3rd in rushing yards with an averaging 139.9, and they're 2nd in the passing yards at 262.6 per game. Their defense is going to stop Lamar. It's going to stop. Isaiah Likely needs to have a big game. I don't think he will. I think the defense, 49ers, is just going to come up and come up big. You have Nick Bosa and Javen Kinlaw each had 1 sack last week, and Chase Young and Fred Warner shared a sack last week as well. They're the best team in the NFL, AFC, NFC. They clinched their playoff berth, which was pretty much obvious. I don't see the Ravens succeeding against them whatsoever.
All right. Why you have an input on this? Who do you think is going to win this game and why?
I think San Francisco is going to win because they're fully healthy. You know, when they're fully healthy, that offense just goes. The Rams showed us a couple weeks ago that you can do it against Baltimore's defense, and I think the 49ers, fully healthy and the strength of their defense, I don't see Baltimore pulling it out. They don't have the weapons on offense that the Niners do. So
I agree.
Justin?
Yeah, I do think that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. It's just like Wyatt's saying, like they don't match up well to the 49ers. They match up really well to just about every opponent that they could possibly have over in the AFC. But when you're talking top tier NFC teams, it's going to be difficult for them to keep up. So yeah, and I'm going to say the 49ers as well. But I just really hope that it's a really nice preview of the potential Super Bowl.
Yeah, I actually have them picked as the teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. And I know Mr. Bagshaw, he actually likes the Ravens in the chat, thinking they're going to cover and win it outright. So, Jerry, man, appreciate the feedback on there. Yeah. With that being said, Justin, your game of the week, man.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that this was kind of how you guys were doing it, where you guys were kind of pitting against each other. I just thought that we were just writing down a game of the week that we wanted to talk about. So I do apologize if I'm stepping in here, but maybe Wyatt could counter mine here because with the Giants at Philadelphia, I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to say the Giants. All right. And I don't necessarily really think they're going to win, but I think they're going to give the Eagles all they have. I think it's going to be a much closer game than a lot of people are going to give the Giants credit for. And after just 2 losses in a row, the Eagles went into this unnecessary frantic mode. They switched defensive play callers. They had Jalen Hurts doing this insane drill in practice where they were tapping him on the shoulder with a stick or something and making him dive on the ball like he wasn't protecting the ball enough. Like he even scoffed at him because it just shows the distrust that this coaching staff has in their quarterback, and that cannot bode very well for the trust that he would have with his coaching staff. And all of that led up to a 3rd loss in a row. So if the Danny DeVito's nephews led New York Giants can somehow pull off this impossible win here, then I think that we're going to really see the 12-year-old that's trapped in Sirianni's adult body blow up on his adult players. And he's going to lose that team. I think he's already kind of in that, like just after 3 losses, he's already kind of backtracking in that mode where we see coaches slowly losing their team sometimes at the end of seasons. And I mean, Mike Tomlin's been doing it for years and he still has a job. So who am I? But I called this all happening 2 months ago, this backpedal, this breakdown of the Eagles. And this Eagles team is insanely talented. Don't get me wrong, but they're just an actual real coach away from being the real deal. So I'm going to take the Giants on this one, Wyatt. So it's kind of a layup for you if you want it. Are you going to go Philly here?
I only have 2 words here, and it's Matt Patricia.
Okay.
He's not the answer. He's a disaster. Take it from me, okay? I won't say anything more, but he's not the answer. I don't trust their defense. I think the Giants cover. I don't know if they pull it off, but I'm certainly not taking that spread. I think the Giants will cover, but I'm on your side here, Justin.
Hey, right on. I like it. I like this guy.
I like him too.
All right, so real quick, I just got to throw this out there because, all right, I remember not maybe 6-7 weeks ago, the 49ers going on a 3-game losing streak, and what was everybody saying at that time?
Yeah, but that was everybody else. It wasn't what we were seeing with the team. The team was still in unison. The team was still saying all the right things. The team was all still having each other's back. They weren't saying that that people weren't committed enough to winning. Like their quarterback said this week. And he did say, including myself at the end of the comments, I get it. But it started off with him throwing some people under the bus. And it didn't have coaches making emergency switches in the middle of the practice week without telling the rest of the media because they wanted to do it secretively, like check yes or no, or will you date me? Like they weren't doing things in secret like little kids. Like this team is. Like it was the actions of the team that led me believe back then that the Niners were still going to be a good team. It's the actions of this coaching staff and this team that leads me to believe that Sirianni is a 12-year-old.
Hey, it's fair and stuff like that. But
I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, and Matt Patricia. All right, yeah, we can throw him in there. I'm always down for talking bad about Matt Patricia.
No, that's a Sirianni decision. Right. So to your point.
Yeah.
Just anyway.
Look, all I'm saying is, 49ers went on the 3-game losing streak earlier in the season, and now they're rolling on cylinders and stuff like that. Maybe this is what the Eagles need to get back on track and get ready for those playoffs and everything. So, look, it happens to the best of them and everything. Now we're going to see if the Eagles could bounce back like the 49ers did, right?
There you go.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Hey, look, great discussion, great topics and everything. Look, please, everybody out there that is watching right now and is gonna jump on. Look, we're only 13 subscribers away from 2,000. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Not only do that, man, when you're post some comments in there. Let us know what we're doing and what you think of our topics that we're discussing. Everything it will really help us to really drive all those algorithms that we are needing and everything. But please hit the like button and subscribe. All right, next topic, we're going to be rolling into his hot streaks of the week. Look, we have a whole list of players here and stuff like that. And what I want to do, Will, is I want you to start it out with the first one. We'll bounce back and forth and kind of get some discussions on it. Do we go over all of them? We'll see how that goes. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. I agree. So first one we have here is Trey McBride. Back-to-back weeks of 20-plus fantasy points, 20 targets across the last 2 weeks, and he's caught 18 of them. That means he only dropped 2. 89, then 102, then 102 receiving yards, and then he had an historic Travis Kelce role, McBride, in Arizona.
All right. With that being said, does Trey Bride consider, because keeps his hot streak going, Justin?
I don't see why not. I mean, until he doesn't do it, until you prove me wrong, I'm gonna continue to think that you're right. So yeah, I have no problems with it, and I think as far as like for a fantasy standpoint, I'm gonna start him unless I've got TJ Hawkinson or Kelce or one of the big dog, maybe even Kelce. At this point, you're not going to see Kelce on this hot streak list anytime soon. Right? So, I mean, yeah, I might be starting him over a lot of people. So,
all right. Why is Trey McBride the next Travis Kelce?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's the next Travis Kelce. That's a mega question, Rich. But I think he's going to keep the streak going for sure. I mean, who else does Kyler have to throw the ball to at this point, right? So
I know Brown is injured. I don't know. He's injured. I don't know if he plans on playing. I know he's questionable right now. So, I mean, look, he's going to get tons of targets. So, what do we always say? We want to play players that are getting tons of targets. Will, does he continue this streak?
Yes.
I believe so too, man.
So. Yep.
Right.
Can I say that Sam Laporta might be the next Travis Kelce?
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
I think he is.
Yeah.
Now, Wyatt, you're over here pointing to the mid world over there, so just kind of
that way.
I was just pointing at Justin. I agree with him. I think Sam Laporta's,
yeah.
All right, next player we got on our list is Isaiah Likely. 13 targets across the last 2 weeks, caught 10 of them. Back-to-back weeks with a TD. 83, then 70 receiving yards the last 2 games. And he's averaging 19.3 and 18 points the last 2 games and everything. I'm going to start by saying I would love Isaiah Likely to have just that, man, who else are they going to throw to? I mean, he's kind of in the same boat with Trey McBride and everything and stuff like that. Look, everybody thought when Mark Andrews got hurt, he was going to step in. Look, he's done decently enough and everything to make it fantasy relevant for a lot of teams. I know he had a huge week for last week for a lot of players and stuff like that. This week, you know what? I think he continues his hot streak and everything against the 49ers. So I think 49ers are going to – he's a big guy, man. I mean, I just like him a lot this week. So I'm going to say he can continue his hot streak. Will?
I disagree. I only think because 49ers, he's playing the 49ers. I don't think he's going to have a big game at all. And that goes back to me picking the 49ers defense. As a Cowboys fan, I will sit here and say that Dallas has one of the best defenses in the league. The only team that I would not challenge would be San Francisco. And to hold back a tight end, it's going to be San Francisco.
Well, spoiler, I don't want to go too deep into it. We'll be discussing Isaiah Likely a little bit later on the show, and that's maybe one reason why Will is kind of feeling this direction and everything, and you'll understand later as we hit bottom of the barrel. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump in, and I'm gonna get Wyatt's and Justin's input on this next one. James Cook.
I was ready to comment about Isaiah Likely.
Justin, go ahead, sir.
All right, so Isaiah Likely. So none of us believe that Isaiah Likely is as good as Mark Andrews, right?
Yeah, no, I'm there with you.
Okay, so Mark Andrews, his average points per game was 13.5 in PPR before the injury, before he went down. That was good for the third best tight end in the league. Since the bye week, Likely only needs another 3.2 to still maintain that same average because he's been scoring so much more than Mark Andrews. He's not as good as Mark Andrews. Is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the math would even suggest that, but the opportunity is there because of what somebody mentioned earlier about not having anybody else there to throw to. And it shows that that Lamar relies heavily on his tight end position, no matter who it is that's out there. Likely stepped in great and had two top 5 finishes as the tight end one for Mark Andrews last year when he went down for a couple games. Like I feel like Will could slide right in there and score 20 fantasy points in that position for Mark Andrews. So well, maybe at least 2 catches. But so yeah, I think Likely continues it for sure. I think he stays on this hot streak. And it is San Francisco, so yes, that's very true. But they're only kind of middle of the road against tight ends anyway. So it's kind of like they try to shut down the main guys. And he kind of is that main guy, so maybe he does get shut down, just kind of like what Bull was saying. But the way that the tight end landscape is, and again, I know I always go back to fantasy. I don't know if you guys like to keep your show fantasy, but the way the tight end landscape is, it only takes 4 catches and 50 yards for you to be a top 12 tight end in the league. So I'm still going to start him.
Wyatt, what's your input on this one, sir?
I mean, I'll kind of echo what Justin said. I'll be curious to see what more Will has to say in his detailed breakdown on Likely. But I'm with Justin. How many? You don't have a ton of people to throw the ball to. You got to go somewhere. You lost Keaton Mitchell last week. I think he can attack San Francisco over the middle. So I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Looks like Will's going to say I'm wrong, which is good because I could be wrong. But I think volume. So.
Yep, time will tell, and we'll see. This game is on Monday, if I'm correct.
I think it's the last game of the week. I think it's Monday night. San Francisco, Baltimore. Yeah.
Yep. 3 Monday night games this week.
Oh yes, and the
Raiders. No. 3 Monday games.
Yeah.
There's only 1 Monday night. So yeah.
All right, next player we're jumping into is James Cook. Man, this guy has been on fire. Oh, you know what? Will, I apologize. I'll take this one and you can jump in the next one. I apologize.
That's fine. No worries. Go ahead.
James Cook, 19.2, 16 points, 25.1, 36.1 last week. Fantasy points in the last 4 games. 4 TDs during this 4-game span. 87 receiving yards in week 14. 179 rushing yards in week 15. 3 for 4 of Cook's last games, 20-plus touches. Can you keep it rolling, Will?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch this game this week. My son was being fussy during that time. I would say, yeah, I'm going to base it on what the stats you had just said. I would say, yeah, I like Buffalo. I think that that he can. I mean, I don't have too much to comment on him, but I do think that he will continue.
Justin?
Yeah. I sorry, I was laughing. I know you pulled it up for a second, but we got to talk about this. Like, and I like how Jerry even just says like, I'm not going to miss games or I'm not going to compromise. It's just the wife's going to be upset. I love it. All right. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about James Cook, and I benched him last week against the Cowboys, and he cooked my teams. So he's on fire, man. The Cook is burning it. And here's another thing. He's going up against the Chargers this week, and the Chargers are bad against the pass. They're bad against the run. They're bad at football. James Cook is going to light it up. I'm on the Cook train since I let benching him burn me so bad. I'm going to stay on that train all the way through. I'll probably still be starting him in March.
Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, Chargers, I think the coach's name is Jiff. I'm not sure. They don't really have – they're done. I mean, yeah, fire him up. Confidence, RB1, all the way. Go.
All right, so you guys want to know when James Cook started really excelling? When they changed the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
You know what? Look, maybe we should take the ball a little bit out of Josh Allen, where he ain't turning those balls over so much. And they've leaned heavily on James Cook the last 3 games, I want to say, is when he actually took over. But man, he has been putting it up. If you have James Cook rolling into these playoffs and everything, look, he's that running back every year. There's always one running back that comes in and takes over a team going in the playoffs. And what do they call them? League winners? I believe James Cook is a league winner. And look, I will say this. I'm not going to toot my horn or everything, but if you go to toiletstotitles.com and check out me and Jason's, we rank every position, QB, tight end. We rank the top 10s. I have James Cook ranked at number 4 this week and everything. Playing against the Chargers, like Justin said, man, is going to be a stellar game. Justin.
So you mentioned that they switched play callers. They had actually fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey just right after the Denver game. Since then, they scored 32 points against the Jets to beat them. They scored 34 points and lost to the Eagles in a close one in overtime. And if I remember right, it was a game that they actually should have won. And then they beat Kansas City. They beat Dallas. They scored 20 against KC and 31 against that daunting Dallas Cowboys defense. So, yeah, I think they're definitely onto something. It was a change that's really sparked a fire under him. So I think you're onto something there. And Cook's numbers, they were actually really good during the Denver game as well. So the last game with that OC, but before then he hadn't had a good game since week 3. So yeah, you're onto something here.
Yeah. And look, right. Just as we thought that maybe Buffalo Bills might not make the playoffs and everything, look, they have the momentum going right now to not only make the playoffs, but make another deep run like they have had the past years if they keep on playing the way they're doing. And hey, look, the defense, look, it ain't high legit like it was earlier this season, but look, it's had some issues and stuff like that, but they could easily step up too. Will, let's hit that next player, sir.
Jake Browning, 25.7, 24.7, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks. I would have never expected that from him. QB4, and then QB7, depending on the Monday Night Football finishes. He has thrown 254 the last 2 games ago, and 324 passing yards last game, and that's just going ham. 2 rushing touchdowns and 5 passing touchdowns during the last 3 weeks. Rich, what do you think?
He does not continue that streak. I'm sorry to say it, but man, look, he looked good. He is another JB. I know Justin has said this before, but hey, I'm also gonna say shout out to my man Joseph Clark in the chat with the $1.99 donation.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, Joe, man, appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas. You've been quiet outlet, man. Hit me up, man. Tell me what's going on, man.
I keep trying to tell you all it's because he's the real Santa. Nobody wants to listen to me. He's busy in December, man. He's got work to do. He's got kids to see.
Yeah, I might start believing that now, man. Maybe I start.
See, look, there's another clue right there. Yes, I'm wearing his favorite sweater because that's him. I'm telling you.
Hopefully, we ain't got no kids on the show. I'm going to start believing in Santa again. So real quick, back to Jake Brown and Joe. Appreciate you being in the chat, man. Look, it's been a nice run and everything, and it can continue this week. He got good matchups and everything, but look, it's kind of like that Joshua Dobbs cat, man, came over, was on a roll, and everybody's like, oh man, and then all of a sudden what happens? The wheels fall off and everything. You want to know why the wheels are going to fall off? Jamar Chase is not there and everything, so that's going to be a factor in this game, why I don't think he continues his streak. So, Justin, what do you think?
Where were we at? Yes, Jake Browning. I think it could continue, but I do want to drop a mention real quick. We do have a TikTok channel. So Toilets to Titles on TikTok. You can find us at Toilets to Titles. And I mentioned that because I believe it was you, Rich, that sent me a video of it could have been Nate because the two of you send me videos like all the time. It was a video of the current quarterbacks who threw the most touchdowns in their high school senior year. And Jake Browning was number 1 on that list. He played for some school in California, and that's why I wasn't really ready here because I was kind of Googling it. But he threw 91 touchdown passes his senior year in high school. 91. Like, I'm not from California, but do they play like 45 games a year or something? Like that seems ridiculous. He threw for 91. He ran for another 5. So he had 96 touchdowns his senior year in high school in California. And he also held California records with 16,775 passing yards. And then 2 other big records. I just thought it was kind of a phenomenal stat to hold for a guy like Jake Browning, who was cut by the Vikings, and then he showed them what's up, right? And even said, like he was pissed at the end of that game when he said that's what you get for cutting me, right? So anyhow, I kind of got off the rails just a little bit, but yeah, so this week they actually play tomorrow, Saturday, against the Steelers, divisional opponents, and just like I said 1,000 times, Mike Tomlin has every single year at the end of the season, he progressively starts to lose that team, and they continue to get worse and worse every year at the end of the season. Like if he would start his seasons the way that he ends them instead of starting off on fire, then he probably would have been fired halfway through a season a long time ago. But instead, they usually start off really well, and then it saves his job through the end of the season. So I feel strongly that Jake Browning is going to continue this hot streak through this week for the Bengals, and they get a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh this week.
Wyatt, you got any thoughts on Mr. Browning here, sir?
I do. I don't remember where I heard it, but someone said, regarding quarterbacks this year, because we've seen so many different quarterbacks, and Dobbs, you see a couple amazing performances, and then you throw them in, and boom, pumpkin. Browning's done it 3 times, and that 3 sample window seems to be where you can start to trust people. So I trust Jake Browning this week. I do. He's shown he can do it, and so. Yeah.
Even with Jamar Chase not going to be in the lineup.
Yes.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I'm taking Cincy.
It's my bad, David.
All right, we got David Njoku next on lesson on Hotstreaks. He's 8 out of 14 targets the last 2 weeks, caught 6 of 10 of them. 91 and 104 receiving yards with 3 total TDs the last 2 weeks. 27.1 the week before, 26.4 last week. Is this because of Joe Flacco being the new QB back behind that offensive line? Will, is it all Joe Flacco?
I am sorry. I was not listening. I was reading something. I apologize. Where are we?
We are on David Njoku on the hot streak.
Oh, yeah, Njoku. I do. I think I like the pattern. 8 catches and then 14. I think they're going to go up and they're going to probably still see about 20 targets. I'll tell you, the catches he's been like grabbing, it's just insane. First of all, he's massive. I don't know how big he is exactly, but he's just a big dude, and he just has the reach. And I saw 2 catches from him this past Sunday that he caught right on the out of bounds line, and he hit perfect right in. Why wouldn't we throw him the ball? That's how I think about that. What I think about with him, it's like, why wouldn't you throw him the ball in the right scenario?
Yeah. Look, Coach, we got Coach in the chat.
Coach.
Operational wrap is done. I think we all know what the code is at. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Is everybody else operational code wrap done? Yep. Everybody thumbs up? I'm going to say thumbs down for us here at the Gonzalez house. So I apologize. We're running a little bit behind. Wyatt, David Njoku, do you like this giant of a man?
100%. I mean, he's shown flashes for years, and now it's just like it's all coming together. And I don't know if it's Flacco. I don't know if it's that incident he had. I mean, the guy's a BA. You saw after that burn he had, and I mean, he's still just out there balling. Yeah, he's a top 5 this week, easy.
Ooh, top 5. Justin, do you agree with the top 5?
I probably. Now, I want to say that I was really down on Njoku when the season started. That man, over the course of his 6-year career before this season, had only been a tight end 1 18 times in 18 games. He finished as a tight end 12 or better only 18 times in all of that time. And on top of that, it was only 10 times that he even scored double digits in fantasy football. 10 times over that 6-year career that he had scored double digits in fantasy football and PPR scoring, where everybody gets double digits. So, like, I was completely down on this guy. And then he was proving me right up until Flacco suddenly creates this monster. So, yes, he did have spots. Just like Wyatt was saying, there were games before where he would come out and score 30 fantasy points. And it's like, man, where is this all the time? And now all of a sudden he just knows how to play football. So maybe it's just that they never really had quarterbacks that could get him the football. So, or properly, maybe they didn't have coaches that could properly utilize him. I don't know what the situation is, but he is blowing up. And so, yeah, I think he continues the hot streak this week as well.
Yeah, look, I know Wyatt said top 5. Wyatt, I'm gonna ride with you on that. As I got him borderline right there, at number 6,
right on the edge. Yeah,
I got him at number 6. So hey, if he finishes top 5, I'm gonna shout and holler your name from the tops of the buildings here in Oklahoma City. So
I say top 5, meaning 5. Because, yeah, right 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. But hoping for a 5. I've been a believer, like Justin said, all those big flashes I've seen over the years, and I've bought it and been burned, and so this is finally, it's really good to see.
He is playing Houston, and they're really bad against tight ends. ESPN has him projected to be the 3rd on their list. So, yeah. I mean, it's ESPN, so take that with a grain of salt. But
all right, so we got a plethora of players that we could constantly keep on talking on hot streaks and everything, but we're going to stop at hot streaks. We're going to roll on to not so much breaking news, but notable news for this week going playoffs and everything. Couple things I'm going to go ahead and start up with and everything is NFL announced that his suspended Steelers safety DeMonte Kazi, I apologize if I brutalized that, for the rest of the season for violating playing rule intended to protect the health and safety of players. I want to think this is after the hit to Michael Pittman, if I'm correct. Justin, is this the right move?
Yes and no. So I'm actually okay. He was in a tough spot. Like he's trying to play defense. He was going for the ball. He did lift off, though. So according to the rules, that lift off is kind of where it became a personal foul. I think the reason for the suspension, though, is because he's had several of these over the course of his career, like especially this season. I think he had like 4 of them so far this season. So the NFL has finally just said, enough's enough with the personal fouls with this guy. You're done. And they're suspending him. So I don't think it was necessarily because of the Pittman hit. I think the Pittman hit was just, kind of made it to the point where the NFL felt like they had to jump in and do something. But I don't necessarily think it was dirty or egregious. I don't think he meant to do it. I think he was going for the ball. And I think that he's a very fiery player, a very competitive player. And it comes out like that sometimes. So, and I hate the Steelers. I remember them back when they were a dirty team, and back whenever Burfict played for the Bengals, and they would have those games where both sides were equally trying to headhunt against each other. And I hated that team. So I'm not viewing him as anybody like that. I don't think it was dirty or malicious, but I think that's the reason for the suspension was more so the frequency of the liftoffs and the head-to-head hits and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Wyatt, what's your thoughts on Mr. Kazi?
I think Justin nailed it. The frequency, everything just kind of led up to it, and you do the same thing over and over and over again, and eventually you're gonna do something about it. Justin nailed it.
Yeah, this is true too. Yes, it makes it very hard on defensive players when the quarterbacks are underthrowing the ball by 40 yards and the receiver has to come back for it, and they run into each other. Yeah.
So many murder balls this year. Oof, with all these backup quarterbacks. Yeah.
And actually, to his point, I know this is kind of off track, but since Jerry brought it up, and Jerry's the man, so the reason the Colts are even in a playoff spot right now with Gardner Minshew is because, I've never been a believer in Minshew as a starting quarterback. This is well recorded, but I do think he's one of the best backups that a team could have. And with all of the different teams in the NFL that are all now relying on their backups, we got ourselves a top 10 quarterback, boys.
That is true, man. Maybe they trade Anthony Richardson offseason because of how good Minshew's been playing. Is that going to happen there, Justin?
Hey, as long as we get 2 firsts out of him, I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
or, it didn't even have to be 2 for this year. I don't care.
I will say this about Kazi. Now, if this was at the beginning of the season and this was a play that happened, it's going to go exactly how Justin kind of look. It was kind of the way the play was led up, but he put himself in this situation with everything that's kind of happened up to this point and everything. So to me, I think this was the right move and everything. Look, we got to make sure we're protecting players. I know this is the NFL. Look, these are grown men playing everything, but look, they got families to go home to, and they still got a life to live after the NFL and everything. So look, it can't be intentional, man. Will, go ahead, man.
I saw the hit, and I made a short on Kazi on Pittman. And when I saw the hit, I was like, okay, yeah, he was going for the ball. I think it looked worse than what it was. And I was like, okay, I can see him getting maybe a 1-game suspension. Okay, blah, blah, blah. However, then he opened his mouth in the locker room and started saying something about, oh, this is football. This is this, that, and the other. If we can't hit, then flag football. It was an awkward hit. You kind of saw him where he was going. You could have gotten away with the 1-game suspension, but then you had to come in and say that. I was not that the suspension should be based upon that, of course, but I was like, what's this guy's intentions now? Like, was it clean? Was it not? I think it's too long. I do think the rest of the season, maybe a game or two should have been okay, but a suspension was definitely warranted in that situation.
Well, I mean, you say game or two and stuff like that. Game or two is pretty much the end of the Steelers. How close
Yeah, that's true too.
Are they in the playoff hunt? Are they going to make the playoffs?
Who? I'm sorry. I was reading
Steelers.
something. No, I don't think so.
So it's the fair thing.
That Colts loss bumped them back to the point where they're going to have to now probably win out to have a real shot, and I don't think. No.
So you hit it on the nail. Yeah, maybe not fair 2 games. Well, you know what? That is the rest of the season for them. So there we go. Will, why don't you go ahead and take over the news for me, sir?
Sure. Colts running back Zach Moss plans to try to play Sunday at Atlanta, despite the fact of injuring his shoulders versus the Steelers. This is definitely something to keep an eye on. Is it going to affect your fantasy team, Justin?
Not really, because I go super running back heavy. Everybody should probably prescribe to that theory. And if you don't, this is one of the multiple reasons why wide receivers are easy to come by this late in the season. Running backs are not. So for me, no, it was not going to hurt my fantasy season. But also with JT coming back, I probably wasn't playing Moss anyway. And I was a little bit leery about starting JT his first game back. But now with this news, I'm probably more likely to start JT more comfortably.
Understood. Wyatt?
JT or Aaron Jones?
Yeah, there you go.
JT or James Conner? No, I'm kidding. Again, Justin's got the analysis. He nailed it. I don't think you can play Moss, right? And it's hard to trust Taylor, but if you've got no better options, I think it all comes down to what options you have, right? So, fantasy wise, I'm not sure if we're talking fantasy or real life, but fantasy wise,
fantasy wise,
yeah. It depends on your options. It'd be scary to fire up Taylor after this long, but depends on your options.
Yeah, I'd be terrified. But if he's your only option,
yeah,
what else do you have, right?
Hey, and I think this is a great time to talk about the Start Sit Show, right? So if you need some help with trying to figure out whether to start JT or Aaron Jones or James Conner, are you doing it on Sunday this week?
We are. We're going to do it at least one more week this week. And this week's going to be a special one because it's going to be Christmas Eve. So all the guys are pretty busy, obviously. I think George and Jason are both still going to be stalwarts for that particular show. And some of the rest of us are going to kind of poke our heads in and say Merry Christmas. But so we'll definitely have it going. We'll definitely be able to answer your start sit questions. At least Jason and George will. And but yeah, appreciate the plug there. That was great timing there, Wyatt. Nice segue.
Yeah, look, here's the one thing I'm going to say about Zach Moss. He's kind of shown that, look, we could plug or play Jonathan Taylor or Zach Moss this season and everything. So why not rest him a game and stuff like that with JT being back? Look, it was a thumb injury on Jonathan Taylor and stuff like that. He has been a full participant this week. Hey, I would like to see them kind of rest Zach Moss. That way, give him a chance to heal up another week and everything. And that way they have both them as an option if they are able to make the playoff run with the stacked as the way the AFC has with all their teams fighting for these last positions and everything. So I'm not worried about Jonathan Taylor this week. I don't look, he's still going to go out there and play and stuff like that. He is going to play. It's a thumb injury and stuff like that. I know Justin on the previous show this week said that, look, Jonathan Taylor ain't going to play unless he's 100%. Look, this is a thumb injury. I think he plays.
Yeah, I mean, all the news is coming out saying even the previous week, like before last week, they said that there's a really good chance that he's back for this week, and that was before the Moss news or anything like that. I want to mention one more thing, Kai, on Kazee, on the fines that DeMonte Kazee has been racking up, because I've been over here doing the math. I don't know if you guys have been kind of watching, noticing I'm not really looking at the camera here or anything, but
I thought you were marking me off the naughty list, so I apologize.
Putting you back on it. All right. No, I've never met a Raiders fan that would not be on the naughty list. That's kind of like you have to be, right? Like that's part of your rite of passage. But anyway, if you take away Kazee's signing bonus, which is his only guaranteed money in his contract, that's all he's guaranteed. So his signing bonus, $875,000 is his, no matter what. So he's playing for $375,000 this year. That's how much money he's playing for, because the other was guaranteed. So $375,000. If you take away the money he's being fined for these last 2 games for being suspended, and you take away all the fines that he's already been hit with, he's only playing for $107,000 this year. $107,000. So he's lost well more than a third of his money just in fines for those hits. Like, you would think that a dude would be like, because if I lost a third of my money, like the wife would have my bags packed on the front door because I'm not using my head in my job. Right. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, you would think, let's not lift off, you know?
There seems to be I know it's not all the Steelers, you know, it's but there's a lot, there's attitude problems, right? And it seems like when you hear these attitude problems, it's generally affiliated with a Steeler in the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on over there.
All right. Go ahead, Will.
San Francisco, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, unless I'm missing one, have all clinched playoff spots. Who do you think could? Or actually, let me rephrase that. Who could be who is in the running? And I don't know I really honestly don't know who could be the ones to clinch this week. Who are the closest ones?
So I've got a graphic here that I can, or not a graphic. It's from the NFL.com here. Let me share this, and this might help us. All right. All right, so this is you're correct. These are the teams that have clinched: the Ravens, the 49ers, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Obviously, their seeds are not clinched. They could, fall or come up to any other seed at this point. These are the other teams right now. My son's a big Lions fan. He keeps me posted on the Lions. He said all they need is one win this week, and they will secure their playoff spot. And this week, the Detroit Lions play at Minnesota, so that one's pretty possible. There's also the other way for the Lions to clinch would be for the Buccaneers, the Vikings, and the Rams to all lose, which the Rams did win. So if the Vikings and Buccaneers, if either one of them lose even one game, winning out the rest of the season, then the Lions will also secure. So I think the Lions are a pretty deadlock. And then obviously in the AFC, you got the Dolphins. I think they could lose out and still make it, but obviously since they're not clinched, that would mean somebody else would also have to lose. But at 10 wins, you got to believe they're in. But it's definitely a lot dicier over here on the AFC side. We see a lot more teams there on the bubble for sure.
Yeah, look, okay. I think Dolphins. There's a lot of things that could play out, but I do think the Lions and the Dolphins, after the games this week, I think they're both going to have their spots clinched and everything. Look, it's jumbled up down here towards the bottom with these 7-7 teams and everything. So they're going to have a lot of factoring. I don't think it's going to factor into Miami or the Lions. I believe both of them do clinch as far as the AFC side. I believe they will clinch, though.
Do you think the Colts are getting in, Justin?
I mean, I do. I do think so, and that might just be me being a fan and looking at things through Colts blue colored glasses. But I mean, they have Atlanta this week. They've got Vegas. They have Houston. I believe if they can win 2 of those 3, then they should be in. Houston obviously is the last game of the season, so CJ Stroud, you'd like to think he's going to be back. I hope he's back because obviously I don't want. The concussions are serious things. I don't want any team to win because the other quarterback had a concussion of all things. Like now, I mean, if he happens to sprain his pinky finger and can't grip the ball, I'm okay with that. But concussion's kind of serious, you know. So, but the Falcons this week, they should handle the Falcons. But the thing about the Colts is that they never win the games they should. They usually win the games that they shouldn't. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We also got to see what Arthur Smith decides to do, if he wants to try to pretend like he likes to keep his job, or if he wants to not run Bijan and not throw the ball to Pitts. We never know what's going to happen there. But if the Colts can pull that one off, then they only have to beat the Raiders. Like, that should be an easy win, right? Am I right, Rich?
No, you're not right. Hey, to whoever who is making picks against us the week that the Colts play the Raiders, hey, look, I'm calling my shot now. The Raiders will win that game. I'm just outright saying it right now.
I tell you what, Rich. Well, first of all, since we're talking, I'm about to talk bet here. So since we're talking bet, let me talk about Rival real quick. Joinrival.com/title tribe. You see it right there. There's the little link, joinrival.com/title tribe. Links also should be in the description. I'm not sure if it was last week or not, but will make sure that link is in the description after the show. But this is a fantasy sports betting site, and it's the newest evolution in fantasy sports betting, where you can bet $1 bingo cards. You can bet head-to-head on particular players and how they're going to score in PPR scoring, that sort of thing. But anyway, you like what you see. Don't think that just because it's the end of the football season that you got to stop gambling on there, because they also have NBA. They've got Major League Baseball, which we're going to be getting into some this spring. So your first deposit of up to $200 will be matched, plus an additional $25 just for using that link right there. Now, I want to talk a different kind of bet with you, Rich, my friend, because I did this bet with Neil from Clock Dodgers last year, and I won the bet. So I'm going to do it with you this year, and here's the bet. Loser has to put up their Twitter avatar of the winner's choice. My Twitter avatar will have to be whatever you say it's got to be for a full week.
Hey, bet. Let's do it.
All right.
I was gonna place a bet too, but mine was a little bit more. If the Colts win, I'll send you some money to you buy a 6-pack of beer to celebrate with, and vice versa and stuff like that. But we could do this too. I'm perfectly fine with that.
We'll do this and that, and then we'll just settle up the beer when we get to Canton. How about that?
That's perfect, because I know I'll be winning that one. All right. So with that being said and everything, we are going to close out with the news going in the playoffs. Look, a couple things I want to talk about real quick is toiletstotitles.com, guys. Go to toiletstotitles.com. You got our links to all our shows. We have our rankings. I mean, there's tons of stuff that we got on there and everything. So look, hit us up, get us Gilded, another one I want to join up. Look, just like I said right here, we got my man Wyatt on here. He talks shop with us all day in Gilded. If you're interested in joining us, look, shoot us a little message to toiletstotitles@gmail.com. Hit us up. We'll get you in there. We talk shop about everything in there. Earlier today, we were talking football cards, collecting football cards and everything, just getting input. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff we talk about and everything. And it's a fun, it's just fun every day listening. And it's not just us up in there helping everybody out. Everybody in there is helping everybody out. And that's what makes it more fun and more of a family kind of environment. So hit Coach up, hit Justin up, hit me up. I mean, hit Will up, and we'll get you in there. You'll enjoy it. You won't regret it.
Yeah, Wyatt will tell you that I ask start-sit questions every single week to the guys. Like, I'm just another guy. We're all just guys in here trying to get as much advice as we can, and then it's up to us to start the right players. So, ultimately, it's my fault that my teams are failing in the playoffs. It's not the guys on title time, I promise.
No, it's
Right.
it's a great place. It's really me being the newer, you know, like I love it. It's a friendly place too. You know, you can answer other people's questions. You can have your questions answered, and not be afraid that anyone's going to jump on you, say, or you know, like things that can happen in other chat platforms. It's a really great place to hang out with good folks.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to the meats and potatoes of the show, where me and Will battle it out for the lowest scoring team, which we call bottom of the barrel. We started it last week. After 1 week, Will picks my team, and then I pick his team. The premonition of this game is we're trying to pick a team that's going to score the lowest score is, I'm correct, right, Will?
Yeah, lowest score.
All right. So Will picked my team last week, and with the team he picked, I scored 72 points. I picked Will's teams last week. His team scored 56. So shout out to me for winning last week. Look, the premonition is we are picking players from the top 10 of me and Jason's ranking. So we still have to pick good players. We're just hoping those good players are going to bomb just enough, a little bit, and everything. It doesn't affect your fantasy football team, but it does help us in winning and everything. So 72 for Will, 56 for me. We take the difference of it. So right now, Will has 15.31, and I have 0. The goal is, forever how long we do this, we want to be the lowest scoring. So going in, we are going into week 16. Will, who are you picking for my team this week?
So I have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback. Now remember what I said about the 49er defense. I still think that the defense is just going to mollywop Baltimore. I do.
Mollywop?
Yeah, I do.
Great use of mollywop.
Yeah, that's awesome. Grandpa Will is in the house.
Yeah. No, it'll be 36 next week.
All right. So real quick. That went right over my head. Please give me a definition of mollywop.
That doesn't take much.
Oh. Okay. I'm short too, so remember I can't chime in on that. Mollywop is they're just gonna win. They're just gonna beat them up.
I'm gonna look up the exact definition.
Yeah,
people they got to know. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to educate the kids in the chat.
Exactly. Justin Jefferson, I picked as your wide receiver. I saw that he was lower on the list, so I was like, okay, let me look further into it. He's banged up. He's injury prone. Mediocre performance last week. I don't foresee the former number 1 pick for most fantasy drafts going very far. I think that he's just too injured. I think last week it was mediocre, and I was watching the way he played. He doesn't look like the Justin Jefferson that started in week 1. He doesn't. So I just see him going down.
I found it. Mollywop, according to Urban Dictionary, which we all know is a credible site to use. It's widely used in the Bay Area. So since you're in Miami, I'm assuming they mean, like, when they say the Bay Area, they usually mean like California, the
San Francisco.
Bay, but we'll just say that you heard it around the Tampa Bay area because you're somewhat closer to that. Because again, facts on this show only. But widely used in the Bay Area means to beat down someone badly in a fight. It can even mean that you have beaten your friend in a game. So mollywop was very properly used right there.
Wow, and for the right team too, if it's in the Bay Area.
There you go.
That's a coincidence. I'm not that intelligent. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Running back, I picked Tony Pollard.
Okay.
We all can understand why. Not only because he's playing a good defense, but because I don't think he's lived up to the hype this year, especially with Zeke leaving, him taking over RB1. He just hasn't. I think that it's just they're playing a good team this year. This week. They're playing a good team this week. I just don't foresee him getting through that defense very well. Or maybe he doesn't get as many touches. Maybe Dowdle will come in. I would love to see Deuce Vaughn back. Isaiah Likely. Same reason as Lamar. they're second in passing yards. If they don't let that much in passing yards, and I picked this game for the week because I'm really in on San Francisco this year, and I think the defense again is going to really show up this week. Even though they're resting players, I still think that they're still going to show up. They're still going to show up against Baltimore.
All right, that's very fair, very fair.
So if you're talking Isaiah Likely, what you mean to say is that he's going to get banked, because in the Baltimore area, that's what they used for the word molly. Yeah,
so
yeah. See,
we're going to get banked.
That's right.
I can't wait till next week until after we get all these like stats back and who won.
I'm just going to look up all 32 areas and I'll shoot it out to you guys, because this is education. This is facts. This is what the kids need to hear.
All right, so I'll take that stack. I'll be honest with you. I like this. I like this lineup that you picked for me. I think they're going to score over 100 points. I'm going to throw that out there, Will. The team
who's going to score?
What's that?
Who's going to score over 100 points?
All these players you picked for me are going to score over 100 points. The team that's not going to score over 100 points is the team that I picked for you. At QB, I got Tua Tagovailoa. Look, he's on a downward spiral and stuff like that. It seems like this happens to Tua every year. He starts out strong and everything, and look, we saw what he's done the last 2 weeks. I think this is another performance where it's very below subpar and everything. It really depends on Tyreek. He's a big part of what's going to happen and everything, but I believe it's just not going to be one of those games for him and stuff like that. I think it's gotten a little bit colder, just that tad bit colder for him over there in Miami, or even if they're playing in Miami, just not going to live up to the hype this week. Mike Evans been having an awesome year. I mean, there's nothing you can say bad about this gentleman. Look, all he's done ever since he's been in the league is put up numbers. How many seasons of 1,000 plus? At least 9. Look, this man gets it done and gets it done. But I might be shooting myself on the foot. I really like him, but I'm picking Mike Evans out of the top 10. He was the player that I had to kind of throw in there and everything. So he's going to have that back-to-back subpar game and everything. So running back, Raheem Mostert. I know he's dealing with the injury. I'm stacked just like you stacked Lamar and Likely. I'm stacking Tua and Mostert.
Fair.
I think this is going to be a low performing game. I like to see them lean a little bit more towards A-Chain. And I know a lot of fantasy teams out there would love to see that too. So Mostert is going to be your running back. And I'm taking David Njoku as the tight end. Look, he's had some stellar performances and stuff like that. I think maybe he comes back to earth a little bit this week, playing against the Texans. And I think Texas defenders kind of show up and really shut down Njoku this week. So that is my bottom of the barrel team for you, sir.
Okay. I like it. I do. I think Njoku's going to show up. I think Mostert's going to show up. I honestly, I think the Cowboys are going to lose. Honestly. And just knowing the Cowboys being the Cowboys. I don't pick because I haven't bet in a while because I always lose. But I don't. Cowboys always struggle. Dak always struggles on the road, and they're playing against the Dolphins, who are having a stellar season. Unless something weird happens, no, I think Miami's coming home with the W.
All right. So, guys, I appreciate you all for showing up, but you know who I appreciate the most is my man Wyatt. Wyatt, you did an excellent job tonight, sir. I really appreciate you jumping on. Would love to have you on again later on, anytime, sir, and stuff like that. And before we go, is there anything you would like to say, sir?
Hey, I just appreciate you guys having me on. It's been really nice to meet you face to face, screen to screen, and appreciate you having me in the Title Tribe. And look forward to many fun seasons to come. And best of luck to everyone moving forward in fantasy. And also have a safe, happy holiday. Don't drink and drive, please. Much love.
Absolutely.
Well said. Well said. Will,
well said.
Last parting word, sir.
I wish everybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, which I'll be back before then. Everybody be safe, enjoy, eat a lot of food, relax, enjoy your time with your fam, and let's go Cowboys.
Justin.
Eat a lot of food. That's not a holiday thing, is it? I just do that all the time.
I mean, I do it all the time too, but everybody's going to be together, so why not?
Hey, I got a question real quick for Wyatt. I've got you down so far. We have 10 people down that are interested in the IDP startup dynasty draft that we're doing. I'm thinking about doing this as a draft that we do like live on the air instead of a long one where we do like 8-hour clocks. If we do that, think you might be interested in coming back on and doing the draft with us?
I'd love to, yeah, and I'd love to be a part of it, man. I fell out. I lost my 10-year plus dynasty IDP league this year, so.
Oh wow. Well, you're definitely in it. You're definitely in it. I have to figure out details on how much it costs, and we're gonna find some kind of a competition to give a couple free spots because it's just Patreons only. So again, if you're watching this and you want in on that, I got a couple spots left that haven't been picked up on, and I'm not even giving it to team members yet. I want to fill it with non-team member Patreons only, but I'm going to be running several leagues this next season. I'm cutting back all my other leagues, and I'm going to be running several leagues for the Patreons and for the non-Patreons and for the team members. And it's going to be a lot of different separate types of leagues. So if you're interested, make sure you DM me at JustinFF_, but also Patreons will get first dibs on a lot of these leagues. So that's patreon.com/toylist and titles. And I don't care what your holiday is. I don't even care if you don't have a holiday that you celebrate. Just enjoy your time, enjoy your family. Most likely you work at a job where you can get time off of work, whether you celebrate or not. Do something productive with that time, or don't do anything productive at all. Just enjoy it, right? Do your thing. You be you, and I'll be me, and we'll all have a merry whatever you want it to be.
Nicely said, sir. And with that being said, guys, spoil your family, spoil your kids. It makes you happy. And what does making you happy makes you enjoy life, man. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. And to all the Title Tribe members out there, we appreciate you very much.